Hello there, my music lovers. I'm Joshua Modified Heaven, and today we are having a look at the Sigva P2 headphones. This is the current flagship or the best headphone that Sigva has, and it is a $400 headphone. It may be found for a bit more depending on the country you are in, because above those $400 sometimes you have to pay import fees, shipping and such, but I will judge them based on the $400 base price tag. This means that the main competitors for the Sigva P2 are HiFiMan Sundara and Brainwaves Alara. Those two are also planar magnetic headphones in the $400 to $500, although Sundara goes for a bit less. HiFiMan Deva may also make a good comparison, and I will be adding it to the list of comparisons for the Sigva P2. The package for the Sigva P2 is actually quite bland, and it is not my main thing for a package, for a headphone. This is the cardboard box it ships in, and the main package is also a cardboard box, brown in color, so there is no real fanciness with this one. But they have a pretty nice rendering of the P2. And there are a few bits of information on the back of the package where you find the impedance, which is about 32 ohms, and the sensitivity, which is 98 decibels. They are fairly low in sensitivity, which makes them pretty hard to drive actually. This is in line with what I've been experiencing with the Sigva P2, and they are quite hard to drive, and they've been hard to get them to sound good. They need a pretty good source, and pretty much everything about the $300 price range will do. Like the Earman Trump or FIO M11 or iBazo DX160. Those are the kind of sources I would be using for the Sigva P2. I also had a very good experience using them with the Xduo XD05 Plus, and also the Xduo X20 was able to drive them, so maybe the $200 will work well as well. Opening the package is quite simple, and I'm happy to say that the package is actually a bit better than both the HiFiMan Sundara and the Brainwaves Alara. This is the package, and this is the carrying case of the Sigva P2, and this is a real leather carrying case, and I mean real leather. This is thick leather, it smells like leather. Yes, this is a pure leather smell. It also has a very high quality zipper, and it has little feet so that it can stand like this. It has a little flappy flap by which you can hold it. It has a handle, and pretty much everything about this case is nice. It is a very high quality case, you cannot really squeeze it. It offers very good protection in every way to the Sigva P2, and this makes it one of the best cases I have tested for a headphone. Once you open the case, you are met with the headphone, today's show, the Sigva P2. The Sigva P2 headphones are presented separately from the cable. The cable is detachable and based on a 2.5mm jack, and you can find the cables here. This is the headphone, the Sigva P2, and it looks quite awesome. But I wanted to say a few things about the cables. The cables come in a little pouch, which is made of fabric, and this pouch is maybe one of the best things I've ever seen for a headphone lately, because this little pouch has the cables and the adapter for the cables. The thing is that Sigva knows that their headphones are hard to drive, and they know that most people are going to be using them from a portable. So instead of making them with a large 6.3mm connector and only offering 3.5mm cable, they actually went ahead and offered a 4.4mm cable by default. This is the 4.4mm cable. This is like having the best cable out there for a headphone that is hard to drive in 2020. The cable goes in like this, it clicks right into place, and after you have done that, you have a 3.5mm cable available to use. This will work well for iBazo, for the X220 if you are using the AMP7, but you also have the 4.4 cable if you are using the AMP8 with the DX220. The 4.4mm cable will also work with FIO M11, FIO M11 Pro, and pretty much everything which has the 4.4mm standard. I love the fact that Sigva really thought about this, and I really mean it. When I said that they have a 2.5mm jack, I meant at the cups of the headphones, and those are the jacks that attach to the cups. They have markings for left and the right, and the headphones have those too. The headphones look pretty awesome in person. They have this reflective surface which is made of metal. The reflective surface is also covered by a little grill made of metal. The black metallic grill is also made of metal. The headband is made of metal. The handle mechanism is made of metal, but the cups are actually made of wood. You get to see real wood in a headphone. The Sigva P2 also has very high quality earpads. Those are some of the best earpads I have ever seen in a headphone. They are in line or slightly better than HiFiMan Sundara. They are slightly better than HiFiMan Deva in quality and in feel, and they are better than Brainwave Zalara. On the other hand, the earpads are slightly smaller too than all of those. So they don't really, this doesn't really mean they are more comfortable than Sundara and Alara and Deva. It just means that they are pretty comfortable by themselves. So if you have medium or small ears, they will work best for you. If you have very large ears, they won't fit you. They aren't exactly on ear for me. They are over the ear, but I'm at the limit. I have a medium-sized head, and this is pretty much my limit. If they were any smaller, I wouldn't be able to fit them. So if you need something with larger earpads, or if you know you have large ears, they won't work well for you. One thing that I have wanted to say is that I usually tend to have poor comfort with most headphones that say they are over the ear and they are on the edge. So I tend to only have good comfort with very large earpads, and I have good comfort with Sigva P2, so they may work well for the majority of people. The wood actually has a bit of model. It actually looks like wood. This is a real wood in the ear cups, and you can see the driver on the inside if you look really closely. It is a planar magnetic driver, and as I've been saying, they are quite hard to drive. They are hard to get loud, and they're even harder to play. So if you really want to make them play, to get the best out of them, you really need a high quality source. So not only they scale well with the source, they don't really sound very good out of a smartphone. So driving them out of my Xiaomi Redmi Note 9S or even ultra portables isn't exactly quite as good as driving them out of something more proper. I have been using them as a measure of what entry-level stuff can drive, and they can be driven from an entry-level source, but they don't really sound the best out of an entry-level source. The comfort is quite good, as I've been saying. The earpads are somewhat soft. They are at medium rigidity. They aren't exactly Sennheiser HD 660S, which was very rigid, but they aren't exactly HiFiMan Sundara either. They are slightly harder than HiFiMan Sundara. Pushing on the ear cup doesn't really show a lot of driver flex, although I can hear a very slight sound, so try to not push them. Moving your head doesn't mute the sound and doesn't affect the music, so you can use that from walking. That is something that happened with the Sonoma Model 1. You couldn't really move your head, you were stuck in one position only. Those are pretty practical. The cables are not microphonic, you cannot hear them brushing against your clothes, and overall they have a pretty good sound. You cannot cover them though, so covering them will result in a very different sound. Covering them will also get you better overall isolation, but they aren't meant to isolate. They don't really isolate from the outside noise. I would say they have 1 to 3 decibels of passive noise isolation, so very poor isolation. They don't leak that much, they aren't the loudest headphone around, and the adjusting mechanism looks just like the one on Meze 99 Classics. I like this mechanism, it is very practical, it offers good comfort. There are those bumps on the headband which help with the comfort. They are pretty comfortable in the end. At the end of the day, I'm having very good comfort. This headphone actually sounds very, very good. It is a midly V-shaped headphone, so the sub-bass and the bass are enhanced above the mid-range, which is slightly pulled back, and the treble is also enhanced. It sounds a bit louder than the mid-range, and pretty much the treble and the bass are in line with one another. I would say that if you want a midly V-shaped sound, they are quite excellent. They have one particularity to the sound, and that is something I haven't really noticed on anything else. Besides Deva, they have a similar sound to HiFiMan Deva. I would call this type of sound a bit boomy, but it isn't exactly boomy. There is a very specific peak in the upper bass, which creates some kind of warmth. They sound pretty warm, they sound quite musical, but at the same time you can hear that tonality in every song. It is a very specific bump somewhere. I couldn't say exactly where it is, either in the 500 Hz or the 800 Hz, but at any rate I'm hearing that kind of tonality in everything. They just make the Premiere drum, so when hitting the drums you just hear a bit of a poop higher than it should be. This doesn't really impede me from enjoying music. I actually enjoy their sound quite a lot, but it is something you will notice and you will be quite aware it is going on after you have been listening to them for a while. It may make your music a bit warmer, a bit smoother, but it will also be a bit distracting if you aren't expecting it. So I wanted to mention it. It is something that really happens. Another thing that I could say about them is that they have excellent instrument separation, which is just great. The instrument separation is incredible. The soundstage is also quite large. I was quite impressed by the soundstage. For $400 those are larger than HiFiMan Sundara and larger than Brain of Zalara. They are quite large in terms of staging. The detail is excellent. The detail is much better than I was expecting for the price point. The overall clarity and definition is excellent. For $400 you are getting an excellent headphone, and the sound has a very clean bass. The bass is very clean and deep, especially for $400. The sound is very clean. It is cleaner than HiFiMan Sundara. The bass is quite a bit cleaner, but I would say that HiFiMan Sundara can be found for $250 to $300 new, while those ones are $400 from the start. Alara can also be found for $350, which means that those ones are expensive. Those ones are more expensive than both. So yeah, it would make sense that they're a bit better. But you know what? Sigma isn't really known at this point, and they're a new company. This is a new headphone on the market, and I want to point out that they created a better headphone than the competitors in the similar price range, which means that they deserve a chance. It may not be possible to get a listen before you purchase them because they aren't really available anywhere except for ordering directly from Amazon or from AliExpress or directly from Sigma, but I would say that it is really worth the effort. Amazon has very fair return policy and you can get your money back if you aren't happy with them. I was very happy with them, and unless you have a very poor source, you should be really blasted away by their quality. In general, I would say that pairing them with a high-end source is best because they still scale. So even when going from iBazo DX160 to DX220, I could hear an improvement, which means that they have very good scaling abilities. This is something to take into account. When something scales well, you can actually enjoy it even more if you already have a good setup. So if you needed a $400 headphone, let's say you needed it to complement your other headphones, or something that sounds really amazing and will really take well the test of time. This is the thing. They will survive for a really long time. I don't see those breaking anytime soon. Every single part is good. They have metal in the build quality, but they are not heavy. They are just a good headphone. The sound, as I was saying, is quite musical in the end. It is a pretty warm, and that warmth can be heard everywhere. I have been hearing it in every single song, but I've been enjoying that. To be honest, in the past 2 to 3 weeks, those have been getting the most on-ear time for me, and I've been listening to them probably the most from most headphones I have right now, and I would say that I've been enjoying them. They have been a very enjoyable experience. Overall, if you are looking for this type of sound, I really recommend them. I thank you for watching. I hope this video has been enjoyable to watch. I hope it will offer you the help you need. I hope you will subscribe to Audiophile Heaven. Also press like on this video. It really helps my motivation going up. Hope you have a lovely weekend there, and we'll see each other soon. Bye bye.